worn cobblestones, listening to people rushing past to rhythms all their own. Life passing me by, not thinking how the years have flown until I met you. I won't say that it was fate. I won't say that it was destiny. But if not, what could it be that drew you towards me? Could it be chance? Till the day that we meet again, where or when, I wish I could say, but believe, know that you'll find me. Promises to keep, we won't ever need. Till the day that we meet again at our place, just let me believe in the chance that will come. Take my hand and never let me go. Take my hand and believe we can be together
Hey, how's it going, everyone? For those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you know that Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. This is my original copy that I got back in high school. I've probably played it 3 or 4 times all the way through. So when they started doing these remakes of the game, on the PS4 was the first one, I couldn't help it. I ran out and got the deluxe version as soon as I could, and I played this probably 60 hours all the way through. It's not like a super long game, because this game is only the first installment of a 3-part series they're doing, I guess, as the remakes for the original Final Fantasy VII. So today in this video I'm going to be talking about the newest installment, Rebirth, that came out only on the PS5, and it's even bigger than the first installment of the game. The first installment, I think, took me 60 hours. This one has a ton more content on it, just, you know, extra stuff you can do, extra missions, just like a lot of stuff you just threw in there. It's a really big budget game. And I think I actually put like over 100 hours, and I didn't even finish it. You know, there was some like really hard challenges at the end of the game that I didn't even finish, because I just kind of got a little burnt out on it, actually, to be honest. You know, I was really enjoying it, but after 100 hours, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, maybe I'll pick this up at some other time. But I swear, this is one of the best games that I played in a while as well. You know, I think on my last video I said the same thing about Elden Ring, But this is a completely different style of game than Elden Ring. You know, Elden Ring's like a brutal action game. This one is kind of an action game, kind of an RPG. Well, it is an RPG. And it's just got a little bit of everything in it, really. It's got tons of cinematics. It's a very cinematic game. But it's also got, you know, pretty involved fighting system. I think it's about the same kind of fighting system as on the first installment of this. Maybe a little changes. I played you know, this one a while ago, so I don't remember exactly how the fighting system was on that one and how it changed. But yeah, this is how you really do a remake right, I think. You just, you know, make it as close to the original one as you can, with also adding just like extra stuff that seems like it's natural for the game.
For the evening. Welcome to our gilded paradise, the Gold Saucer. Dio, art director. And you, sir, are...
Cloud.
Well, Cloud, shall we duel?
Let go.
Now, when fate sets us a challenge, we must rise to meet it. Are you ready to rumble?
You can do this, Cloud.
You know, we see a lot of remakes these days that they don't really stay that close to the source material, or they'll end up altering little things in the game that actually end up kind of changing the whole feel of it. And I steer clear from those kinds of games completely. Even if it's from a game I loved, I'd rather just play the original again than play like some kind of remake that is kind of going to ruin the experience for me. You know, I don't want to have this love for an old game that I played and then play a remake and get soured on it, you know? It's kind of the same thing with these new Disney Star Wars movies. You know, I love the original Star Wars movies that came out, was the late 70s, I think the first one came out. And I've watched those many times. And after I watched the Disney Star Wars movies, I was a little soured on them, actually. I said, yeah, this kind of ruined the franchise for me. I just don't like Star Wars anymore. And I'm glad they didn't do it with this. You could tell when they made this that it was made by people that really just loved the original game and, you know, loved all the characters about the game. And just, you know, they had fun making something that they loved and that fans, I think, really loved too. I haven't seen it really anyone speak negatively about this game, except maybe that it's like too long or something. You know, I think I saw Metal Jesus Rocks. He was saying like, "Oh, there's just too much filler in the game." Well, I mean, I guess you could argue that because they're just like a ton of mini games and stuff, and just like little side quests you can do that, you know, you really don't even have to do to complete the story. There's just extra stuff for you to do, which I like, because, you know, if you like a game, you want more stuff to do in it, right? But maybe if you're, you know, just trying to get through the whole story as fast as you can, maybe that, you know, stuff's not really for you. My buddy Alex, he played this game and he said it's also one of his favorite games that he's played this year. But he went through it in, like, I think he said 50 to 60 hours, something like that. So he finished it in like almost half the time but he was just, you know, going through the story and all that. So you can really play this game just anyhow you want and have a blast with it. This game, I want to say it cost like $150 million to make, which, you know, comparatively to a lot of these really insanely expensive games they're making now is, I guess, not too much. I just saw this horrible game Concord. They were spending like 300 to 400 million making it. And I just don't know where all that money went. In this game, you can actually see where that $150 million went. There's just like a ton of stuff in here. There's movies, there's songs. I think there's got to be just like hundreds of different songs that they threw in this game. Like, the soundtrack is amazing. You're walking through, you know, just some area and you'll just start hearing like random songs for, you know, different things you're doing. And it's all just blended into the game so flawlessly that I actually wanted to go get the soundtrack for the game after I was playing it. And that's what I did. I ended up buying the official soundtrack from Japan. I had to get this off the Square Enix store, and they shipped it from Japan because I guess they figured there weren't like enough people in the US that were going to buy this, so they didn't make like a US version. But in here, there are 7 discs of music, and I've been listening to these in my car while I'm driving. I'm just having a blast with this still. And, you know, you get these nice little like folders that come in with really high quality pictures on the front. Look at that. That's pretty sweet. And even though there's 7 discs in here, I can still tell there's like not all the songs from the game in there. There's just a huge amount of music. And this game is just a huge production overall.
We've come so far, but it still feels like Midgar's right behind us. We were his prisoners, me and my mom, Ethelna. He kidnapped us because she was a Cetra, a specimen for his experiments. And after what he did to her, after all the pain and the horror he put us through, I hate him. Sometimes, I imagine the things I'd do to him if I got the chance. I start thinking things so dark and ugly that it scares me.
Everybody's got someone they hate. It's normal.
Is it? It doesn't feel normal.
What I'm trying to say is, worry about the future when it comes. You'll know what to do. And whatever you decide, I'm with you.
I appreciate it. Shall we? No need to worry about the future till it comes. Not until the moment arrives. And when it does, I'll be counting on you.
Good.
Not you. That was to her, my future self. Can't say when you'll meet, but trust me, you'll love her. Just you wait.
So in this original game here, this is a 3 CD game, and they kind of split up the remakes into, I think the first disc of this game is pretty much what's covered on the first remake game they did for the PS4. And the second disc is, I think, roughly covered on this one. I don't remember exactly, like, you know, how it all lines up through the story, but in the first game, you pretty much spent the whole time in the Midgar city, which is kind of just the beginning of the original game. And in this one, they finally get out of Midgar, the characters do, and the whole world is opened up. And that's what was really impressive about this game. Just the world in it is huge. I mean, you're still kind of on maps where, you know, it's not like an open world game where you can just go everywhere. You know, you're still kind of confined to certain areas before you unlock more. But you feel almost like it's an open world game as you're running around, just because these maps are so huge. And the graphics on this game were just beautiful. I swear, Square Enix really just knows how to make Final Fantasy games pop. Now, interesting side story. I didn't get Final Fantasy 16 for the PS5. There was something about it that just didn't really look very interesting to me. You know, I've always loved Final Fantasy ever since it came out on the Nintendo, and it's always had like a certain kind of feeling for me. You know, there's like very interesting characters that kind of just grab you right away, kind of, you know, outlandish characters, really. And the games have always been just like really bright and colorful and imaginative and just kind of fantasy-like. But on the 16th installment, I played a bit of the demo and I said, this doesn't feel anything like Final Fantasy to me. It feels just kind of like a, I don't know, like a modern Game of Thrones, like dark gray, you know, just not very good. I don't know. I didn't really even get that far into the game. I think I played like an hour of it, and I said, this isn't really. The graphics were good and everything, but just the overall presentation of the game just didn't feel like a Final Fantasy game to me. And I'm really happy that that Square Enix is spending a lot of time doing these remakes too. I think they were kind of disappointed in the sales, though, unfortunately. You know, they spent $150 million making this thing, and I think they sold a bunch of these, but they still didn't really sell as many as they were hoping to. And I think their, you know, the profits on the game were kind of, you know, not what they wanted. So I'm hoping that in the future we'll still get like a really, you know, good conclusion to this remake series. I'm a little worried, to be honest. If they're worried about money and stuff, they're not going to be, you know, making the high quality game that this thing was. I mean, I can't imagine how much work they put in this game. I really can't. It's just so much production value in it. You can see they spent just a ton of money, ton of time, put a ton of love into this game. And I'm really hoping that those resources will still be there for making the conclusion in this game, and, you know, they won't be any half measures or anything like that to just get it over with. You know, we might have a third game where everything's just rushed and, you know, you got like 30 hours of gameplay in it. That could really suck. You know, I want them to really, really, you know, put everything they have into including this game, because this is probably one of the best franchises ever for Square Enix. You know, they not only do they sell the games, but they sell tons of merchandise for Final Fantasy VII. You know, I bought the soundtrack, I bought the deluxe edition. You know, I'm like $200 just in this in this Rebirth. You know, and another thing that kind of separates the Final Fantasy VII games from a lot of other Final Fantasies is just the characters in this game are so well thought out and put together that almost every one of them is likable. I'm not really a big fan of the little cat character. He was kind of annoying in the game, but you know, everyone else is just so likable. You want to see what they're going to do next. And even though there's a ton of cinematics in this game, you know, you'll be sitting through a lot of it just kind of watching movies. But I found that I didn't even really care. You know, in a lot of games, you just kind of want the cutscenes to be over with so you can get back to the game. In this game, the cutscenes are like a treat almost, because they're so well done. You know, the graphics look so good, and just the writing of the game is good. The characters feel like real characters. They don't feel like, I don't know, just half-written idiots. You know? And you know, Tifa's in there. You really feel like she's still Tifa from the original game. You know, Aerith's still in there. And even though they add like a lot of extra, you know, story content and stuff, and you know, the characters are doing different things than they did in the original game, the way that they did the remake was so faithful to what the characters would be like. I think that's why I really, really enjoyed it. There were no points in the game where I said, what is this? You know, this doesn't feel like the original Final Fantasy VII. Everything in this game, I think the people that made it, they probably just loved the original game so much that they were able to just transfer everything over into the remake. And I think that's what studios really have to do. You know, when you make a remake, don't change stuff in it. Just keep the original feeling, because that's what people loved in the first place. They don't want your modern take on the game or your artistic take. They want to play something that's like a new, improved version of the old game. And I guess I'll just say in conclusion, I hope the third installment is going to be just like this one, where they just finish up the story, and it's going to be just so satisfying. You know, it's so satisfying to have 3 different games where you play hundreds of hours, and it feels like you're back playing the original. You know, you're just back playing in that same world with the same characters, and it's just, that's what you want, you know? All right, guys, I babbled on long enough, so hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway. And, you know, if you don't like kind of the more modern Final Fantasy games, you might like this one. Try the remake first. It's pretty good. It's not as polished as this one. This is a lot more polished, but if you want to get the full story and everything, you got to start off with that one. And if you don't know anything about Final Fantasy VII, and you know, you don't mind kind of the older graphics, you know, this game is iconic, and you still might enjoy this one if you can deal with the old graphics. If you play this one, you'll really understand what they were trying to do in this one, and I think you'll appreciate it a lot more playing the remakes if you do play this first, like I did. You know, I've had this game in my mind since I was in high school, basically. So, you know, it's kind of just what's the word? It's like part of my gaming history. It's just such fond memories with this. And you know, when I go back, or when I play this remake, playing it kind of just takes me back to those old times when I was playing the original. And just like all the good feelings, and it's like a very nostalgic game for me, even though it's a remake. It was kind of interesting. So that's how you nail it, guys. Game studios, if you're listening, take this as a model for what you do in the future if you want to do any remakes. Anyways, guys, I'll leave it at that. And I'll see you next time. Take care.